Hey everyone, my name is Thomas. Welcome to my channel. Ever wonder why somebody got involved in 3D printing? Well, here's my story. Now, warning, this may be a long story and also it may get emotional, so have a tissue just in case. Alright, so it all started with my wife's cousin. His name is Barrett Pote. And he told me about this program called Peppercork, and he showed me a couple Iron Man pieces that he worked on. He was working on the Mark 6 at the time, so he had the thigh and the shin done, and he also had a helmet done. We became really good friends. Every time we met, we would always talk about, because he got me into collecting Hot Toys Iron Man figures, so every time we met, we would talk about, like, okay, what we had on pre-order, what we have coming in, what's coming out soon, what's rumored, and we would always keep in contact. I myself now have over 60 plus Hot Toys Iron Man, War Machine, Tony Stark figures, and I love that collection. I just wish I was able to display it. So, and with that, both Barrett and I became really close friends. He was in my bridal party, I was in his. We both went to New York Comic Con together. We went in 2012, right before we both had kids. Yeah, and then we became really, like I said, we became really close. He was like an older brother to me, and I really loved that. Because I didn't have an older brother because I'm the oldest. So, and then this is where it gets hard. On April 12th, I got a part of a group text with my family and my in-laws saying that my cousin Barrett was in a hospital. He had a heart attack. His heart stopped beating. That was tough to take. And then I was at work at that time, and a while later I got a call from my mother-in-law telling me that Barrett had passed away. And it's still hard to talk about now. The guy was only 43, 44 years old. We think he died of an apparent heart attack. We're not 100% sure. It was just so sudden and out of nowhere, and it hurt. I really didn't have a lot of friends. I considered him my best friend, my older brother. And it had hurt. And at his funeral, he was a volunteer firefighter, and they did the final call through their radio system, and that really hurt. See, I was never part of a brotherhood like that, like a firefighter or a cop or anything like that, but with going through that it just hits your soul. It's just really difficult to deal with. And when he passed away, he had a daughter. It's been 5 years. She was only 5 years old at the time when he passed away. And after the passing and after the funeral and everything, his wife packed up and moved back home down to Pittman with her mother. And it was tough because Barrett also collected different kind of Iron Man figures and stuff like that. And she was asking me for my opinion to try to see if I could sell some of his stuff to help raise money. Nothing has been sold. She's having a really hard time letting it go, and I completely understand. While going through his stuff, she had a few things that he did. There's a couple Peppercork pieces that he had. I now have. She asked me if I wanted them. I said, sure, I'll take it. I would love to. So I have that. I didn't do anything with it because I'm afraid to mess it up, because I don't have the original files to reproduce those. And she also had a helmet that was for Iron Man. I think it was like the Mark 6 or something like that. I believe it was done with peppercore because it was the fiberglass. It was down to like it's like the primer stage and everything. When I got it, it was in rough shape, and it had cracks everywhere. The faceplate didn't sit flush. At first, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but after some research, some YouTube going on the RPF, I believe it's the RPF website for like building props and such, and I figured out how to do it. So I bought some supplies. I was able to make the helmet better. I was able to make the faceplate sit flush. I was able to take care of a lot of the cracks. And while working on this, I had a lot of hard time and troubles with it. There was multiple times where I wanted to just say, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But then I always felt, Barrett told me, don't give up. Keep going. You can do this. And I'm lucky I did, because I finished the helmet. And I'm really proud that I was able to do this. Now, this was before I got 3D printing or anything like that, so everything is just a little, it's not very smooth. It's for what I did, it's great. So, I just hope this doesn't get stuck on my head. So I got that, and I don't have batteries in this because I don't want the helmet to get messed up, but and you can pretty much get the idea of, I was able to complete the helmet, and I'm sure Barrett would be proud that I was able to finish this for him. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of trials, tribulations, lots of patience. But I'm glad I stuck through with it. And after that, I wanted to do a full Iron Man suit in honor of him. So my first attempt, I bought a 3D printed costume from somebody on eBay. I gave them my measurements, they 3D printed it. That was a huge waste of money. It was, the quality of the prints wasn't great. I spent more in supplies trying to fix it, or trying to get it to a decent spot, than what I actually paid for the files and the 3D printing themselves. So I ended up just scrapping that entire project because the chest was too wide. I couldn't get certain things to work because it just didn't work well together. So, and then the following year, I tried foam. I went through Etsy. I found someone on Etsy who was able to do the Mark 7. It took a long time because the seller had too many projects, and it was just a whole other thing. But I was able to get that done, and it turned out pretty well. But there were still some things I didn't really like about it. Like the hands on it weren't that great or anything like that. But it worked. It impressed a lot of people. I wore it to work. A lot of people wanted my picture, which was really good. So that was fun. So, and since I wasn't happy with that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get myself a 3D printer. So for multiple birthdays and Christmases, I saved my money. I also got some Amazon gift cards from my job, because it was from the company for a Christmas gift. So after a while, I was able to save up enough money to buy my first 3D printer. I got the CR10S V2, and let me tell you, this thing, I love it. I'm glad I got it. It was a little hard at first to get it to work. I had to change the print bed. I had to replace the nozzle because the heat resistors, something on that melted or broke off, and I couldn't get that to work anymore. But I was able to get it to work. And then That was May of 2022 when I bought my first printer. And then in August, I bought a second one. Got a little ahead of myself, but I had 2 printers and they were running and they were printing out my parts and it was working great. But then it got cold and my prints weren't sticking to the bed. So I put it aside and I did some more research, and then I found out about the enclosures. So that's what I have now for both my printers. And I have another one that I just got so I can put my third 3D printer together. And I know, and this is where it gets really hard for me, because I wish Barrett was still here. I miss him so much. I mean, he missed the end of a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of phase 2 or 3 at that time. I think the last movie he saw was Captain America Civil War. So he missed Infinity War. He missed Endgame. And I'm not sure many people can admit this. I cried so many times in Endgame because when Tony Stark died, it hit home more than anything else because of Barrett. Because he loved Iron Man, and I loved Barrett, and it just really hurt. I actually haven't watched that movie again since it was in theaters, and that was in 2018, 2019. So, and I don't know if I'm ready to watch that yet. But I know Barrett would be proud that I have 3D printers and I'm working on an Iron Man costume. And this hobby is frustrating. It's challenging, but I always hear in the back of my head him tell me, keep going. Don't stop. There's times where I have a failed print, or I walk in there and I have a huge pile of spaghetti and I get really frustrated, but I push through. I keep going, and I'm almost done printing the Mark 39 Star Boost. I've had a lot of help from some internet friends, Frankly Built, Uncle Jesse, Nico Industries. Those guys have been really helpful. And I just wish Barrett was still here, that he can see what I've done already for this costume and what I still need to work on. Because also with Barrett, he knew a lot of stuff about stuff. Like, he knew how to fix things about cars. He helped me one time change the timing belt on my wife's car because that broke. It took us hours to do it, but we did it. He was always there for me to lend a hand. He was always willing to help. And I can still hear his laugh in my head. And I hope I never, ever forget that laugh or his voice. And that's why I'm dedicating my entire channel to Barrett Pote. I miss you, buddy, and I wish you were still here. But I'm going to push on. I'm trying really hard not to cry right now because how much I miss this guy. Sometimes life isn't fair. Sometimes people leave you before you're ready for them to leave. But Barrett, I miss you so much, and I love you, brother. I wish you were still here. And also, when I found out about 3D printing, when I got the helmet from Barrett, I also got a couple 3D printed pieces. Now, this is from a long time ago, so this probably took a long time to print. I'm not quite sure how these go together, but I believe it's the Iron Man Unibeam. So, when I saw this, that's what got me wanting to get a 3D printer when I saw this. And I wish I knew how to put it together. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I see lines, but I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to break this because I'll never forgive myself if I break it. So, wait, does it snap in that way? No. Alright, I'm not going to. Oh wait, maybe that does go this way. No, wait, no, no. And this is where I wish Barrett was still here and he could tell me how this thing goes together. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you had those tissues ready for it with you, because I have to find one right now because I need it. Again, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and if you have any comments, please leave a comment below.